as the weapon we know he can be.
Yeah, wasn't able to get the Rise into any sort of relevancy either. So SANDBOX now on the red side will have counter pick, so maybe some of these interesting drafts will come into fruition a little bit nicer. In this game, SKT not going to be seeing the Aurelia. Got through the first round of picks without actually being picked up until a second round ban last time, but this time going to be taken away in pole position.
See if SKT want to change priority on anything on the blue side. You do have the freedom. Try to reach for, say, an Urgot or a Lucian. Those are two big picks right now when it comes to first pick status. Galio also could join that particular list of champions. What about the list of banned champions? And seems like with a Game 1 victory, why not keep banning away OnFleek's most impressive recent champion in the Camille?
Yep, Camille not going to be seen. Rakan also going to be continued to be banned away from Marta. Aatrox, Urgot, Galio, all available. One going to be let through. Which one will it be is the question. Lucian also standing out. 4 champions that have been almost must-ban status. Not going to be banned this time around.
I feel like Aatrox's priority will be lower on the side of SKT. They saw it played by SANDBOX. Dove not able to have a great performance. And if it's top lane, you know, Jace and Fiora and these sort of picks can come out from Khan. He's already shown he has a pocket pick against top lane Aatrox when they played Afrika Freaks, so I think they have no reason to ban that one. See what they're reaching for. Galio, Urgot are the two big ones that we've seen SKT tend towards since the Kesper Cup started.
Yeah, you can imagine one of them will be picked up otherwise, and the Tahm Kench going to be banned away. Feels a little bit like a throwaway ban. Of course, a fantastic champion for Marta to play, but it's not the Urgot, it's not the Galio. SANDBOX wanting to grab a big second round pickup.
So the Urgot will be first picked. I believe still undefeated in the top lane if the interview yesterday was correct. Could have changed in our second series, I must admit. Don't recall, but it has been right up there in terms of pick rate and win rate champions in LCK Spring.
And in the mid lane for Faker, still 100% win rate as well over the 4 games that he's played because SKT haven't lost yet, so win rate's pretty damn good. SANDBOX continuing to look at the Aatrox here. We'll see whether they do decide to lock that one away and what they pair it with in this first round.
I wonder if they're going to last pick AD carry and pull out a Draven. I feel like if AD carry isn't taken first round, maybe SKT just ban Draven in the second round.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that because the Lucian ban I think is really smart from SKT because first picking Lucian, not as valuable when he can just get Dravened in the face in the second round.
Many AD carries do struggle with being Dravened in the face.
Yes, you don't want to get Dravened in the face. I think that's rule number 1.
Victor can wave clear against it, as we've been talking about a lot in some of the Victor bot lane.
Wow, they're doing it.
We've seen is okay. Aatrox first round for the side of SANDBOX. No, Aatrox Akali first round. So all about the English alphabet and what's at the top of that list.
The Duracell combo.
Yep.
Getting the double A's in there. Ezreal, though, can certainly come in. Not going to be paired with the Tahm Kench this time around because Marta's champion pool has been hit quite effectively. The Alistar was banned in game number 1 and is now left available in game 2. But in a first round Alistar pickup feels a little bit dangerous. The Braum standing up for something a little bit more safe, and Marta has already played it, of course.
You're already thinking that Draven could be coming out here, so I'm interested to see what SKT will decide. You can counterpick support later. You can take, like you say, Guardian Braum and say, well, this will hurt the least. They're going to choose the Victor to force a true 2v2 laning phase in the bot lane, and also because Khan had a great game on that in game number 1.
Yep, I like the pick away from Ghost as well as the pickup for Khan or Faker. Still flexibility available, but our minds go mostly to the Urgot being in the mid lane and the Victor being on the top side of the map as far as what trends from SKT have been telling us. And Galio now being picked up, a very true flex coming in for SANDBOX as the Thresh is actually the decision in the end.
Going to rely on Joker on the Thresh once again here. Had a good moment with the Flay in the mid lane. And got SANDBOX one of their small good moments. 29 years old, still rocking out on the Thresh.
Yeah. Makes me feel like I should be better at video games if he's still playing to this level.
You couldn't get much worse, Atlas, so.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
When's the climb starting for you?
That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. It's going to be Brendan Valdez, so I'm going to be watching the LCK, wishing I can play like these guys while losing my way towards Iron 5.
There you go. Iron 5. If you get there, you deserve a big high five.
I know, because it's not even in the game anymore.
Well, Kallista's not in the game anymore. I wonder if Draven will also join the list.
Draven Thresh sounds like a pretty difficult lane to deal with, and SKT seem pretty priced in to where their carries are going to be going. So not a lot of ambiguity over there as Alistar going to hit the bench as well. That is 4 support bans and a support pick, meaning that Mata's going to go right back into the history books to pick up his support champion.
You know what Papa Smithy and also future LCK Holocaust LS would like into Thresh?
Oh, the On?
The Annie support, baby.
Oh, no.
Was always a good one into Thresh because he wants to fish and you just like enjoy this Tibbers and your death.
That's true.
I play it, but of course the pro players don't, so very unlikely to be seen.
You have been playing some of that On support, though, and the Unstoppable works pretty well with the old death sentence that Joker loves to throw out at any opportunity. As the Draven's just going to be locked away. We had a feeling it would happen, and the Nocturne being the final ban from SKT means that it is Draven time for Ghost.
Oh boy. SKT would have been expecting this, but chose not to ban it. Can go for some more abilities to stop Draven just catching his axes and doing maximum damage. Gragas cast could be Gragas support coming through from Mata. We're waiting for the jungle pick. Now we know it.
Yep, Xin Zhao being looked at, and it's going to be locked away here. The Hail of Blades coming in from Cleared, no longer being a passenger in the early game.
Would you?
Oh, man.
Would you dare?
Do it, Mata.
Rank 1 at the end of last season. Can he command the Blitzcrank?
So
he cannot, sadly for
sad.
us. It's going to be Ezreal Gragas, not the Kaiser Gragas we've seen a couple of times. But going to have that all-in threat onto Draven. On Fleek's most famous pick is Jax, a god Jax jungle player. I'd love to see it. The Camille's banned. Just do it. Come on, SANDBOX.
Let's do it. He's taking it. Okay, Counter-Strike works relatively well against the Hail of Blades, blocking out those auto attacks that you want to be getting in. So I like the pickup. I like the idea. But can OnFleek actually make it work? As we still have to work out where everything's going, as Dove most likely going to be going back onto the Aatrox, but OnFleek could be jungling it. Summit could be playing the Jax on the top side of the map. They're switching it all around right now because they know that anything could happen.
You're right about that. We'll wait and see. Let's not stay too close on the name plates here, but I think it's going to be OnFleek in the jungle.
This is what we expect.
20 seconds will be the confirmation. Here it is, and Atlas, you already talked about it. Not easy to get too much damage through the Counter-Strike when you are the Xin Zhao. You out-skirmish basically everyone with Hail of Blades and the Red Smite, but maybe not the champ.
And does the champ also pick up the Hail of Blades? He's got an auto-attack reset, Papa Smithy.
It is the hard counter to...
Hail of Blades? Hail of Blades is the hard counter to
it's
Hail
actually
of
the hard counter to Khan's life because he got murdered a million times in the Ryze versus Jax top lane matchup.
Man, it's exciting stuff coming out from SANDBOX. They're really reaching in to those champion pools. I'm very excited to see OnFleek, on, like you say, his favorite champion in the jungle.
Can't get the level 3 so easy to have. One of the most powerful level 3 ganks in the previous jungle meta. Now has to find the level 3 more honestly, but nothing honest about Q onto a ward, flash, Counter-Strike. You have insane gap close as early as level 3.
Yep. Well, Summit might actually struggle here up against the Victor. Certainly Victor not too scared about just throwing buttons into a Shroud. As Death Ray, Gravity Field, Chaos Storm, you can just press him, and the Akali's still going to take the damage no matter what. Just wait for the Q, stop it from getting anything done. So will Summit have a decent laning phase, or will once again he get punished in the earlier stages? It's time to find out. All right, SANDBOX fans, voices raised, as I always expect to be deafened by the SKT crowd, but a little bit more subdued here today, or maybe the noise cancelling on our beautiful headsets is helping me out there.
Very interesting to see how these lane matchups go. I think Draven Thresh is the most clear one outside of a all-in at level 2, for example, on the Gragas.
Yep.
Tricky to deal with the power of the double range lane bot lane. Aatrox Urgot mid lane we don't see so often. And Dove had definitely some decision-making errors when he played in game number 1, but usually a really good Aatrox player. I think Victor versus Akali early should be very heavily Victor favored. Depending on item build, there is kill pressure for the Akali come Gunblade, but a lot of different ways you can take it as Khan as we look at the jungle matchup.
Oh, wow, Cleared actually went for the phase rush. Understands that skirmishing against this Jax is going to be a rough time, and I think you spoke about this yesterday, that you can take the phase rush in the more difficult matchups.
Definitely can on Vladimir, and it's very viable on the Xin Zhao as well. You know that some of your skirmish assignments are unwinnable because of the kits available to the side of SANDBOX, so I don't mind kind of not wielding an inferior Hail of Blades and being much more about utility and movement speed with the phase rush.
Yep, and I do want to keep looking at these items here because Teddy has started with a Mana Crystal in a Draven lane. And the only thing that really comes to mind here as far as reasoning is I want to go the hell back home as quickly as possible and get me a Sheen so that I can have any semblance of hope helping things out in this laning phase. As on Fleek, hunting Clid. Still level 2 gained by both of our junglers, and already on Fleek's trying to put the pressure on, but won't be able to stop that Rift Scuttler from going down.
I think you make the right call on that one, Atlas, as on Fleek is so deep trying to pick up basically a Xin Zhao or Campbell too, whichever he prefers. However, he's on enemy territory.
Well, there's the Counter-Strike. It is actually going to come in here as Onfleek jumps over, but Faker waiting in the wings. Dove needs to help him out. Onfleek sacrifices half of his health bar and isn't going to be able to stop Clid from doing anything here in the jungle.
Doesn't have to use a summoner, though, for the slippery escape. Q and E skilled. No W just yet. No problem. Mid lane, trades continue.
Yeah,
Faker level 2.
Disdaining, but is going to lose out on the trade as all of the Qs did land in pretty much the sweet spot here for Dove.
Really excited to see this game develop. I think it's very Gangplank-esque, starting the Sapphire Crystal as the Ezreal, because it's, well, I can kind of farm from relative safety. Much more longer safety for the Ezreal, but GP's auto-attack with the Parlay, pretty decent length as well. And then just go for an early shop that wins the lane, like you say. Sheen versus Awesome Dudes was the meta.
All
it's
right.
mid lane.
Disdain's going to come in. Is Clid even needed here as Dove's going to get hit by the corrosive charge, and that may be the end. The flash forward, the audacious charge, and first blood for SKT.
And the timings are so clean, and Dove is not hugging the right side of the lane. So he actually ends up not having the easiest escape path. Bot lane awash with a shop coming in soon for Teleport Teddy. And mid lane already going to the great man, Faker.
Yeah, and I just don't know what's happened in Dove's brain. He's just so far up. He's so aggressive in this positioning. And this was just academic from SKT. No way that he was getting out of that one.
So while he wasn't purely on the weak side, because you don't want to be positioned to where the enemy has vision, which would have been the left side of mid lane from the vantage point we saw, he was also just smack bang in the middle under the enemy turret, spot where Irelia licks her lips and says, oh boy, jungle come, all in is going to happen.
Yep.
Got the same. This time, Faker on point, and easy first blood to SKT.
Both flashes were used by SKT, and no flashes expended on the side of SANDBOX, so maybe an opportunity to get something done, but on Fleek, he's just going to go back home. Wants to pick up some of these items on par as far as the camps picked up for Clid, but not going to be able to buy as many items because that first blood is going to be so important here for the Xin Zhao. Really excited to see whether Onfleek can actually pull this game back because I want to see some parity in the mid game and see exactly what this Jax is capable of.
Well, mid lane ganks was always what I appreciate the most from Malrang, who was our first.
Yeah, the tank Jax.
Mid lane Jax, well, like you say, went Cinderhulk, full tank. Didn't often find time for the Trinity Force. Many of the other junglers would fit in Trinity Force where possible, but definitely no Devourer or anything crazy like that.
Yeah.
Malrang now back in the LCK on Jin Air, so I've been waiting for the battle of the Jax jungle players. Who would dare take it into someone who knows it only too well?
Exactly. Still looking forward to that one. Not going to see it just yet. SANDBOX pushing up here on the bottom side of the map, something that's entirely expected. Gold going to be in favor of Ghost as he's a few CS ahead as we check in on those gold values, but Faker, 5th time on the Urgot, feeling very happy here in the mid lane against the Aatrox. As Clid gonna get fought here by Onfleek. Maybe didn't want to take that one, but knockup does come in. Teleport here from SKT, followed up immediately by the teleport of SANDBOX. Khan wants to find Dove as Joker is over here, has himself the Lantern, so not gonna go in any further forward, and it looks like SANDBOX will be able to lock down the Rift Scuttler.
A lot of people leave lane. In terms of shopping timings, doesn't really impact top lane. Merc Treads versus the Catalyst. Same amount of gold on those items. Ghost backs away, and, well, he's got Adoration stacks, but no more excitement in the bot side on Draven.
Yep, you could imagine that SANDBOX probably wanted to get a gank down there towards the bottom side, but it's going to be very projected, and Marta is very good at getting vision where he needs it. He's still making his way back towards the bottom side as Faker engages onto Dove once again. Level 6 has been hit as the World Ender is going to be popped, and Faker says, thank you very much for that, and I will allow Marta to come in once that is worn down.
No flash disdain, but I think a lot of people around mid lane here on both sides.
Yep. And you can imagine that Faker's probably going to jump back in again as Control Lord's going to spot Joker coming over. 350 health for Dove. Faker just controlling this lane. Not going to go in overly aggressive.
A lot of next levels being threatened, but none being enacted by either SKT or SANDBOX. Top lane, a farm lane, but probably less of a healthy CS lead on the Victor than you might have imagined.
Yeah.
Able to, for now at least, keep a lot of parity as Summit. Gunblade going to be delayed, but Merc Tread's required to not just be owned on an all-in with the W here, and the Magic Resist appreciated as well against Khan.
Looks like the Abyssal Mask will be coming in here for Khan as well, as Summit throws down the Shroud just to keep himself a little bit more safe while he farms things out with this Q. Gravity Field there, and Khan just going to happily pick up this minion wave as it heads towards him. Continue to have a slight CS advantage up there.
Be surprised if the actual Abyssal Mask is completed before Iceborne Gauntlet. A lot more physical damage on the side of SANDBOX, so could definitely be Null Magic Mantle into Negatron Cloak into Iceborne Gauntlet coming through from Khan. Always does more damage than you remember, Atlas.
Exactly right. Speaking of more damage, just watch Teddy completely out-trade Ghost in a ridiculous way. He's taken press the attack once again. No Conqueror to come in for Ghost's Draven by the looks of things.
Better in lane against the Squishy, so want that all-in against Teddy, as last two auto attacks getting a damage amp can be very consequential.
Faker the only thing close to a tank as well on the enemy side, as Teddy's going to get ignited. Whirling Death is going to be available to the Standard side. Does not hit Teddy, and OnFleek doesn't find the counter-strike. He's still waiting, but the play is there once again, and OnFleek going to pick up that kill. Is now cleared. With the ultimate running, OnFleek is in trouble. Leap Strike going to get him to relative safety. And there it is! Adoration stacks for Ghost come through as Marta gets taken down. And Joker just took control of that whole skirmish.
Marta's so on point and stopping the first death sentence, but then is guilty of giving that cash into Draven. Things can change oh so quickly in the bot lane when 9 minutes of farming cashes out. Didn't quite see the gold number, but I bet it was big. As topside, already Summit, pre-items being purchased, having a happy time.
Yeah, jumping forward, looks for it. Does he find the second shot of the ult? Yes, he does. That is the perfect execution that we wanted, and Summit will get out scot-free.
It's a freebie. They knew the jungler was bot side. They can go for the turret dive. The cash-in means a 700 gold. This time, I'll keep my eyes peeled for that Adoration stacks. Teddy too far up the lane. And this is a bro status move from Mata. He knows what he's doing there. But at this point, you think it's a bit comical, right? Because you're chasing, but Joker does the rest of the work. Xinjao doesn't have Hail of Blades. He can't do enough damage. And let's watch above that nameplate for Ghost. Turn comes in. The ult comes in. 723 gold between the kill and the Adoration stacks. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Fed press the attack Draven.
That is a huge amount of income funneled towards the Draven, and that's always the scary time. 101 now for him. 4.1 thousand. That is an 800 gold lead approximately for the 80 carries.
It's basically those cash-ins. The 300 plus 423 gold is the entirety of the lead here. Kleptomancy keeping him a bit honest. Kind of weird thing to say about Ezreal and Kleptomancy.
Yep.
Honesty not his biggest policy.
And Ghost's going to be heading straight towards the Bloodthirster as well once again, and it means all of this poke coming in from the Ezreal is going to basically mean nothing if they're standing in a minion wave. And Ghost should be able to just go one after the other, take down the creeps, and then start trying to smack down these turrets. Turret plating still is going to be up for another 3.5 minutes, and SANDBOX want to try and push this advantage as quickly as they can.
And you know what the biggest worry is of top lane? I know the kill is the easy answer, but consider that Victor built only for not dying and dive.
Yeah, and the
he has
Abyssal
no
Mask is actually on the way
at all. He has Catalyst first into Negatron Cloak second. He is purely there for not dying, and thus Summit picking up the kill. It's kind of an extra variable for SKT to juggle when it comes to, can we even fight for a fight in the next 5 minutes?
Yep. If you build to not die and then die, I feel like you've wasted some money.
Yep.
As Khan is going to move down, try and get some vision, has the control ward there. As Summit does have that ultimate back off cooldown, remember. Can dive on forward, has himself the revolver to get that extra auto damage, and isn't going to get gravity fielded for much longer. Eats the whole shield there with that Q. That did register.
Kleptomancy also helping the top side. Is OnFleek going to meet Clid.
Yep, but Summit is right on over here. Uses the first charge of the ultimate very, very early as he dives right in. But Clid has the ult running and therefore is not going to take any damage from that second shot. And Summit looks damn silly as his jungler gets taken down.
Marta roams up before Joker. Not something we've said much in this series. Seems like an end of the laning phase against the items now finished for Ghost and SKT. Rift Herald and a top lane turret will be a lovely trade. I don't think they'll get both.
Nope. And this tower is going to go down. So first turret is going to go over to SANDBOX. Summit making his way back towards topside, teleport in hand, but doesn't need it in order to get there. So Teddy helps out, Marta there as well, but they lose the turret in trade for this Rift Herald. So if Shelly does grab at least another turret, it's only going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and Ghost continues to push forward bottom side.
Yeah, my attention was grabbed. 700 became 1,700 when it came to the gold lead over Teddy. Gotta be careful here, Khan.
Oh, that hook. If that had landed, that would have been a dead Victor. Stand aside is going to be there, and I feel like that's exactly what Ghost is saying this whole game. It's stand aside, SKT. We were also a 2-0 squad, and you cannot treat us like anything else. As there's the grinder in the mid lane, but Faker is going to be the one taken down. World Ender. It's going to not mean that Flash is available for Dove, so can't follow Faker out. That 1v1 is not indicative of how this game was going earlier on.
If they win through bot lane, Atlas, there's not going to be many excuses available to SKT's coaching staff and also the players who would have had a big voice. In terms of the champ select, they had to know Draven's on the way. It was played twice already by Ghost in week 1. They leave it open, and Khan takes the Victor side of the matchup, can't find a CS lead and dies. So those two things together are also, just like with Hanwha Life versus Griffin game number 1, some worries for these top two big boys that we want to see clash in a week's time.
Exactly, and Faker just takes the full combo here from Dove in the mid lane. Ultimate there, but didn't quite wait long enough as OnFleek comes forward. Can't find Faker, but they do get the flash for themselves.
And you know why Papa's happy?
Why is Papa happy?
Flash over the wall to try to get the kill from Dove. This time,
he couldn't. He was reviving.
I'm okay
Otherwise
with that.
he would have been over that wall, man.
I'm okay with that.
Believe.
I'm going to be glass half full in that bet. They get a huge trade up there. You stay in lane because you have a higher health bar and you don't flash. So still a win for Dove. A lot of wins in a row for SANDBOX Gaming.
Absolutely. I feel like we should speak to Dove afterwards and say, look, I'm glad that you couldn't flash, but just know you also shouldn't have flashed. So it's good that you didn't. Bloodthirster now completed for Ghost. He's got a pickaxe there. The Ninja Tabis are done. Draven's having the best time. That grin from the Awaken video from Draven's face is certainly there as Khan trying to go for this 1v1 as Chaos Storm being dodged out of the way of there by Summit. Second charge of the ult still available. Cleared is down here, and you know that Summit wanted to go for it. Does, but isn't going to get picked off.
Very clear equation for Summit. I have no vision at all, and basically the entire enemy team other than Faker is missing. Not the time to go for an all-in. He already shown he can find a good time earlier this game. Gunblade on the next back, we'd have to imagine from Summit, as Faker and Dove are in the more known quantity of Aatrox versus Urgot top lane.
Oh man, 14.5 minutes, and the Draven is doing so much damage. As shown by what the Rift Scuttler was taking on Fleek. Gonna find Marta once again as Summit moving up the river here. 4v4 being considered, as the fan out from SKT means that they know exactly where SANDBOX are. SANDBOX just looking to try and clear out these turrets as quickly as possible. The overshield going to allow Ghost a couple of extra autos. Some nice movement there, avoids the Mystic Shot.
First time this season that SKT's defensive wards have actually been something to look at, because they have been winning in their previous games. And right now, very shallow wards, not a lot of wards in general from SKT. Some of them cleared by Joker, but otherwise pretty dark is this map, and it should mean that objectives like the Cloud Drake are freebies for SANDBOX.
Yeah. And now Summit down towards the bottom side, freely split pushing, does have OnFleek there. Stand aside, barely missing Teddy as he tries to get some trade damage in, but just hits a shield and isn't able to get rid of that either.
Not often that Ezreal puts out damage to a shield wearer, and actually if he was recalling, the recall would have continued, because you don't interrupt a recall if you don't actually damage through the shield. Ghost can be so aggressive in his positioning. Feels like already a lot of this game is about how Ghost uses his lead. It's one thing to get the lead, it's another thing to teamfight well as the Draven.
Yep, you got to pilot it as the Phage has been picked up by OnFleek. Looks like it will be that Trinity Force that you were talking about. Cinderhulk was completed first, so no Warrior Enchant or the Devourer coming in from OnFleek. It will be building a little bit more damage afterwards, unless he goes for the Black Cleaver. Could actually just decide to go for something like that, a little bit more Malrung flavored.
Feels also it builds more naturally for the Aatrox than for the Jax here. I think Trinity Force is fine. You have a lot of threat. We've seen the ultra late game Jaxes. We're not talking about the ones that struggled, but when you do see Cinderhulk and Trinity Force sometimes they just kill carries straight up because they're Jax, Atlas. The anti-carry potential of a Jax has been there through every Jax rework and kit in the past. I still remember AD and AP giving health for Jax.
Oh my goodness, it was just so ridiculous. I remember dodge runes. It was a good time. As OnFleek going to remind us of dodging out of the way of things as the Lantern is taken, and Mata is going to be okay. SANDBOX actually playing this one very reserved. As there's the flash in, Mata gets them both under the turret as Ghost still trying to get the auto attacks. Can Clid take him down? The answer is yes. As Joker goes into his stopwatch, Teddy free hitting on the backline, unable to get rid of the Thrasher's Summit, dives on forward, and SANDBOX answer back. OnFleek takes the Lantern Rider, now Faker wants to try and salvage this fight. Dove has the World Ender still available though, and Khan comes in with the extra damage. It's a Lantern waiting offside as Joker has no health to actually join the fight, but SANDBOX will trade up.
2 for 1, and a mid lane turret goes the way of SANDBOX, and the only thing that SKT feels good about is that both summoners are down on the Draven. His adoration stacks are also going to be lower. They continue to walk up, and Mata, this is what big boys do. They go for that big boy initiation, and it gets the Draven, but at what cost? The answer, in hindsight, a pretty steep one.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a rough one. The start of the engage was certainly beautiful, but if Teddy had maybe a little bit more gold, he's building for a Trinity Force this game, but didn't have it here. Just didn't have the damage. Didn't have the levels. This is not the Teddy that we're used to seeing when wearing this particular set of clothing. SKT Teddy has been in a great position in almost every game, but now trying to play from behind. Can they make it work as this game continues further forward? It's not an insurmountable lead by any means. Only 2.5 thousand as Joker looks for the hook, doesn't find it. True Shot Barrage is what he's going to get for it. As Summit taking so much damage actually. As Teddy starts tanking the turret, SANDBOX are going to successfully defend here at this point.
Wave clear at a premium on the SANDBOX gaming draft. They're much more about lanes and some poke damages. Awkwardly, Teddy takes both sides.
The double whirling death.
Of the whirling death. Maybe that's why Draven jumped down against Riven. The whirling death could have been off screen.
No. There's no way that I'm allowing anyone to say that Draven beats Riven.
Are we going to allow a Trinity Force Ezreal in this game? Does mean you have the Rage passive and you can keep some distance without the slow, but no armor in the build. Aatrox, like Jax, and Draven are like, this would be nice.
Yeah, and I'm questioning as to why you would build Trinity Force from behind as well. I mean, it's one of the items that feels the worst from behind just in general, but he obviously made the decision. Summit comes on over, not going to be able to steal away any of these Krugs from Clid, who's just going to farm this one out while Khan comes down towards the bottom side. SANDBOX in control. But SKT, this new iteration has been so good at punishing mistakes. And what has SANDBOX been good at? They've been good at making mistakes when it comes to the mid game and when that big boy Baron starts to appear.
But Atlas, what does Trinity Force Ezreal do better than Iceborne Gauntlet Ezreal? It pokes against a team with pretty poor wave clear. So, they can make a grouping phase in this game. If they get a Baron and Trinity Force Ezreal, that is certainly the sweet spot for the SKT draft. But a bit fanciful at the present map state. Could change in a good way very soon.
Well, speaking about good ways, I don't know whether Faker has too many options as far as getting out from underneath this outer turret on the top side of the map. SANDBOX not deciding to commit for it as Khan gets tagged. It's getting to the point where Summit basically hits one of those and then goes in and kills him, but not going to take that chance just this once. Clid spotted on a ward, and now that 1v1 potential certainly there.
Like we suggested, no finishing on the Abyssal Mask recipe. Too expensive, over 1,000 gold. Tempted some engage here, but nothing doing for Clid.
Yep, Audacious Charge now on cooldown as OnFleek finds himself in amongst a lot of SKT members. Summit down here towards the bottom side as well, as Joker will be able to get at least one of them out pretty easily with the Dark Passage. This is quite dangerous as Summit does find Clid. Some extra damage is there as OnFleek. He's on the Dragon, and Summit a little bit off the page when it comes to what SANDBOX wanted to do.
Seemed like he was all about zoning. Could be a 50-50.
Yep, and it is going to go over to OnFleek this time, but the fight has now broken out. Joker going to get smacked down by the True Shot Barrage, but SKT unable to find anything in SANDBOX. Take the Dragon and go.
If we've seen one thing change in Game 1 and Game 2, I hope it's the coaching staff. Put it plainly of, what are you fighting for? Remember that at all times so you don't make mistakes. We're fighting for supremacy here. That's a visual bug.
That's a really weird visual bug as well as the gravity field comes in, but Khan now finds himself in amongst 3 members, but flashes at the perfect time. The ultimate not going to get in there, but Dove knocks everyone up, and the first kill's going to go. The second, both solo laners eradicated from Summoner's Rift.
Flash so big for Dove there. That's the Dove we didn't see in game number 1 coming back on his Aatrox. They turn on to Baron. What tools are left for SKT? Right now, they don't even have a true shot barrage.
Yep, this is a Baron that is certainly just going to go down. Joker just making sure no one comes in. And Ghost doing so much damage to this one. Outer turret going to be taken. SKT not often letting you take something for free, but I'll take Baron for outer turret mid any day of the week.
SKT fans will give their charges another 2,500 gold because 7,800 gold is the lead that Griffin was able to turn around. But there's about 5,000 gold here. Engage in the mid lane, but the timing on the Aatrox here is some cool stuff. He knows how to thread his cooldowns oh so well. Summon able to zone backline even without Shroud available. Nice stuff here, and there's the Naisu from Joker.
Yep, Joker, you can see using his age advantage to carry his charges through when it comes to the shot calling. So SANDBOX now with about 3 minutes of that Baron buff left available, and rapid fire cannon done, augmenting the Infinity Edge finally here for Ghost. So
and already we have an interaction question for the chat. Who wore it better, Teddy or the Jax here? Because On Fleek's got his own Trinity Force. It'll be so interesting to see how these team fights play out. Counter-Strike, as we know, it's a big zoning tool. Maybe you don't need a zoning tool.
Yep, Faker is almost dead here as the gravity field is trying to zone, but he flashes way too late. Chaos Storm for a lot of damage, but he's just dead. And yes, they got some health bars, but 2 kills going over to SANDBOX, and they've got the Baron. They can continue pushing.
Teddy snapped back. And more importantly, Khan did as well on this Victor. And like you say, died as an afterthought. So much burst damage, that gold lead. It's now close to 8,000. We're about the same, Atlas. Irony upon irony, this is the gold lead that Griffin had. There's still a super play from SKT, but they're looking few and far between as it's a summoner spell atrocity to keep these team fights not just complete wipes.
Yeah, and look at the amount of health Ghost gets back from these auto attacks. On Fleek, underneath the inhibitor turret, they are threatening. There's a lot of damage potential here as Cleared is going to get pulled back to the Infernal Chains and just dismantled underneath his own turret. Dove still does have that World Ender running, and SANDBOX not going to be taking inhibitors just yet. Still playing it relatively reserved as Ghost is able to get rid of the mid lane one instead. SKT just stretched too thin and their base in shambles.
No ability to look for another one of those flash ults from Mata. If they miss this one, it's over.
There it is. They do find Ghost. They try and get the damage in, and the Fear Beyond Death comes through. Fear's now under Dove. He doesn't have an ultimate, and SKT get them out of the base. Faker still wants more. Joker, On Fleek, and Summit trying to run as there's the death sentence. Joker just trying to slow them down. Mata in there as well, and SKT should be able to at least deter them from moving this Baron any further forward as Joker gets the playback. Has to flash as now Summit tagged by the Death Ray, and On Fleek wanting to get this one back in. Okay, Teddy, he's going to fall down as On Fleek now in the stopwatch, but Chaos Storm is there and they trade 1 for 1.
No TPs to join this one. A 1 for 1 where the AD carry dies as super minions are flowing into the base means that actually farming time for Teddy going to be delayed 30 seconds. On Fleek wore it better in that time. That Trinity Force looked pretty potent. We watched the replay. Mata had one chance. You screw this one up, SKT to straight up lose the game.
Yep.
They're able to get the first kill. Fear Beyond Death Arms, arming a lot more in week 2 than it did in week number 1. They chase, but they continue to chase in spite of super minions pushing into their base.
And I think Faker thought that he'd be able to get On Fleek and Summit with that Fear as well. Had the flash available, but didn't decide to flash in for the extra Fear. Going to keep himself with that Summoner spell for the next potential fight. But SKT showing that there is still much left in the tank despite the fact that Teddy fell down here.
My body's telling me no, Atlas. It's saying, well, you need a break. You need a break before our second series. My brain is saying, oh, yes, one more game between SANDBOX and SKT. SANDBOX Gaming done a lot good here, and I do like the just desserts being served of, well, you left open the Draven. What did you think would happen?
Exactly. They got Draven. And Teddy should know all about this. He was our Draven last time we were here. Of course, in 2018, he had probably one of the better Draven performances despite the result of the game. There's a one-man army on that pick. Inner turret going to go down here from SANDBOX in the last remaining lane that has any left. Can Teddy land the poke? Can they actually get anything done here, as that hook was very close to landing?
Well, we know that Joko will never stop fishing. Third inhibitor could go down in this passage of play. Let's see how SKT try to stop that happening.
Yeah, or whether they can at all as Summit dives on through. Mystic Shot's going to do a great job of making sure Summit's health bar is honest. Now looking for more. Ghost does have that overshield. It's going to be so hard to kill him, especially with the amount of lifesteal that he does have with that Bloodthirster availability. Dove still over here trying to threaten. Nexus turret still very healthy here as SKT staying together as a 5-man unit.
Remember that SANDBOX have struggled at wave manipulation. They've been the team to run at Baron or snowball a lead. While this is pretty straightforward when you have 2 inhibitors down, there's no guarantee they actually make the right moves.
Exactly, and this 4 versus 3 scenario is something that SKT might be able to find a fight in. They've got to stay coordinated, keep themselves amongst it. 9,000 gold is going to be the lead, but we learned anything yesterday. We learned that not every snowball is going to reach the bottom of the mountain.
You don't feel great about a Mountain Drake at 27 minutes. No Elder in this extended power play. The SANDBOX spin on will be a 3rd and final Cloud Drake before we get that Elder spawn. Teddy almost has 3 items, but it's a late 3 items Atlas, and Draven's got all the items. The Armory was apparently on sale.
It certainly was. That's a stopwatch that he goes back and buys. He can't actually get the Guardian Angel just yet. That will be item number 4. And now there's a cheeky longsword there for Teddy as he starts off on the Gunblade or the Blade of the Ruined King. Faker almost hooked. Not going to go down just yet. He's got the Gargoyle Stone Plate. He's a scary one as True Shot Barrage, just to get some extra vision, does tag up some of the members of SANDBOX. As Dove
He's alone.
Does get himself the knock up onto Teddy.
Let's watch how SANDBOX play this one. They've been hard at the paint on that Baron.
Yep, Teleport is going to come in, but they just can't get to this Baron pit. SKT start the fight a little bit too late, but can they actually win it as Faker right in amongst it? Does get the fear on a couple of members in the backline, but Summit is able to get rid of Teddy, and now SKT barely have the damage available. Ghost 1v1ing Faker, and my money is on the Draven here. Too much lifesteal, and SKT are just going to lose right here. Summit teleports back in, and Khan wants to try and get him, but I think he's just too elusive as Dove flashes forward, doesn't find him, but Summit, he has enough buttons. He's going to be able to take them down. We're going to game 3. SANDBOX Gaming take down SKT, and Mata is just golden in the fountain, looking forward to game 3.
The sins of pick and ban and the early game actually are going to be important against SKT this time. They can't pull the Griffin comeback. They do lose game number 2. Remember that SKT have played the other team that qualified through Challenger in Kesper Cup. They lost to Dumb1 Gaming to end their win streak. Now they're against SANDBOX Gaming. It's 1-1, and all they can do if they win this series and end up 3-3 against our promoted duo.
And I have a feeling that Ghost is not going to be playing Draven in the next game either. Really nicely done, and the way they utilized him as a weapon as well, moving him towards the mid lane, meaning that Ezreal, in the place that he wants to be in the mid game, could just get no farm, could get nothing done, and Teddy looked like he just couldn't get into the game.
But the curious part is, SKT had to know Draven was coming, and yet you don't look at the rest of the draft and say, of course, there was no Vi, for example, nothing crazy, to try to displace the Draven laning phase. And the worst was confirmed when top lane got solo killed building for lane, because that's, okay, well, maybe understand the bot lane, top lane's a problem.
Yeah.
That was where things started the SANDBOX snowball, that credit to them, able to end. So the fact they didn't roll over in game number 1 probably helped their mental coming into game number 2. What does it all mean? Because we will not have a flawless SKT versus a flawless Griffin. In fact, we might not even have a 3-0 SKT come their important match against Dumb1 Gaming at the end of this week.
Yeah, and of course, you guys might be saying, yeah, well, I mean, Griffin haven't lost a game yet. That game 1 against Harma Life Esports should not have been a victory for Griffin. They did not look like an unbeatable team. It looked like they could almost bleed, and SKT have shown us that at the top of the table, you certainly still can. SANDBOX with a great game 2.
Can SKT come back? We know a lot about what this team can do in terms of theory. Even practice has shown us some great stuff. I was in love with the Fiora once more from Khan.
Yeah.
But now it's 1-1, and you dropped a game to SANDBOX Gaming that didn't look droppable preseason. Pick and ban will require a Draven ban most likely first or second round. What happens around it? What slips out? I don't think you need to ban the Jax, but in the late game, even the Jax doing some great anti-carrying onto Teddy.
Yep, also able to get some decent damage in there as well, and You can see Teddy actually doing more damage than the Draven, but when it countered, it was all about Summit on the top side of the map. This Akali just smashing his face into the Victor over and over again.
It shows you the damage numbers can be misleading. Frontline, as you noted, squishy on the side of SKT.
Yeah.
A couple of Qs later, Draven was killing anyone, and even lifesteal tanking the Urgot at the end.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to have the same amount of poke that you would have on something like a Victor or something like an Ezreal, always able to get those damage numbers very, very high, but having a good graph at the end of the game. We've all done it in solo queue where we're like, oh man, I mean, I played well, and everybody, we lost the game. And then you look at the graph and you're like, I want to feel a little bit better, but it's just not going to work. But guys, we have a treat. We have a game number 3. You may not have been expecting that in this series. SANDBOX versus SKT game 3 after the break.